What do the cards have in store for us? Good deeds. Carpool and take public transportation when possible. Public transportation, I have heard from people who have used it in the past, was actually something that they enjoyed. I have never really had the experience of public transportation like that. I guess when I was a kid, we took a ferry to make it to my grandparents' place. Then from there, we had to take this one bus, and this bus was driven by someone who had been in that business for a long time, just in the business of driving everybody around. And because my folks were in a very small town type of thing, then everybody just knew each other. They knew who he was, and it was nice to give them support here and there. And sometimes we would do that whenever my grandfather couldn't be there to pick us up for whatever reason, which was very seldom. Our grandfather used to pick a spot to where, as you're pulling in to the dock, you could actually see him because he had like a bit of a incline. And I'm like, okay, granddaddy's there. Now that I think about it, this never occurred to me before until now. But I guess one of the things that helped me cope with him being gone was that he passed on after we had moved away. As a result, I no longer was taking the ferry and not seeing him in his spot. And I guess now that it's been so long, it doesn't feel strange to think about that memory now. But maybe if I went back and I took the ferry, then maybe the memory would be triggered. But I don't think it could because now those docks are closed and now we have to depart from another one. So, in a sense, it feels like we are ending this cycle to transfer the docks to another location, and it's like it gives you a fresh beginning. The way it happened to work with me, it lined up so well to where now when I go back and do all that, it's gonna feel like it's a fresh experience. Like it doesn't have connection to the past except for the fact that I'm taking a ferry. Well, taking the ferry, taking the bus from that one guy and making it to our grandparents' place was it. But outside of that, something like taxis, Ubers, or the bus system. I have never experienced the bus system in my town. And the bus that I'm talking about, like I said, it was driven by a guy who owned the bus, and that's what he made a business out of. It's not like it was a company or it was sponsored by the city. Carpooling is something that I do once in a while, and it's something that has to be a necessity. And I'm talking about outside of my boyfriend because my boyfriend and I pretty much carpool every day. Like we go together to the gym, we may go together to the store occasionally, not always. But something like, oh, I need a ride from work or I need a ride to work, nothing like that. Unless there's a work event and we need to carpool, then sure, I can do that. But it's just not my preference. I prefer to have my own vehicle at all times. Even for events in which I may be joining my family or my boyfriend, I may need to do that because I just like the control that I have as an adult. As a kid, I had no fucking choice. If the adults wanted to be out until the next day, then I'm screwed because that's how it's gonna be. Fortunately, that's not something mom did often, but it could happen. And I just didn't like that. Sometimes I just wanted to be at home in my room, chilling. And here I am doing the opposite of that. Out, surrounded by noise, not chilling. Now, as an adult, I'm like, if there's an event I'm invited to that I feel I'm going to need to catch a breather from, or maybe peace out before it's over, I will be taking myself there. I'm gonna be like, so I'm going to provide my own transportation because I don't want to make you feel pressured into leaving because I rely on you for transportation. And I also wouldn't want to interrupt your desire and your experience to be here. I just don't want to be here. And because I don't want to be here, then I'm going to make sure that when I no longer want to be here, that I can get out of here. That's pretty much what I learned when I was younger. Like one day I'm going to have the power to make things not suck for me. And then that's what happened. So carpooling, it's something that I think it's not really ideal for me because sometimes when I get off work, I move so fast to do other things such as go to a post office or maybe a quick stop to pick up dusty stuff or just go straight home, no interruptions, no distractions, nothing. That if I'm carpooling, I run the risk that the focus I need is not going to be there. And it's just something I prefer to just have power over. It's what I need for my mental well-being, emotional well-being. This is not really possible for me. I'm just gonna say it. And as much as I would like to experience the transit system, it's just not ideal. And on top of that, I just don't have days to spare like that. I would have to maybe request a day off to deliberately waste figuring out how the transport system works. And even then, I'm still not comfortable about whatever scheduling they may have going on. Like, I like to be at home by 3 p.m., period. And I make it happen by 3 p.m. on my days off. Just to give an example, I know how to plan things to where I can account for traffic, I can account for any delays of any sort, and I still make my goal of being back by whatever time I say. Others don't have to obey my rules or what I'm expecting or hoping for, nothing like that. I don't have that power, and I shouldn't have that power. But what I can do is give myself the power. And that's when I say, okay, that's what I paid for with my car, to give me power. Well, do you guys have it? That's it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know if you rely on public transportation, and I guess by extension, things like ride sharing, carpooling, things like that. I am grateful that I don't have to. And if for whatever reason something happened to my car, I think I would rather move where work becomes walkable before I begin carpooling or ride sharing or taking the transit system. Because even then, I still have power, the power of my legs. That's what I worked them out for. Okay, that's it. Bye.